Hey, everybody. This is Sexy Nerd Science, Season 3, Episode 20. And Dale has been talking this entire time while he's drinking a glass of water. So he's kind of like a ventriloquist. Say hi, Dale.
Hi, Dale.
Boom. All right. Now, quickly, Dale, is that a new T-shirt behind you? Not our Sexy Nerd Science one. What does the fox say is normal? Yes, that one. Yep, that one.
They're all new. So,
I mean, they're all new.
Well, I mean, I've had them for, I guess,
Trust me, I'm a
years.
super. That one already was done. And what does the fox?
Yeah. So this one is from Epic Rap Battles of History.
What is it?
It says Valhalla at your boy. And it's from the Lego one they did.
Yeah.
And this is what does the fox say. I got these a few years ago, but
decided
me and Amanda made them. Yeah, this morning. Had some free time. But yeah, new sound shirts, and I'm going to actually put them up top too. I have them all sitting over there.
Cool.
Yeah, but
so
thanks for noticing.
Fall down on you when you
during our many earthquakes we have.
Yeah, I have sound things in my. See, these are sound corners behind me here.
Sound corners.
Yeah, they actually do a great job at not reflecting sound because they're corners, Dale. Corners.
I'm familiar with the how that works. However, they need to be in a way that captures the sound in your voice, not way over here, not facing you at all.
That's true. And then that way back there, that's just a poster with a glass acrylic over the front of it, and all these things here just absorbing tons of sound. And then there's my tiny little hat up here that I.
What happened to your backdrop you were going to get?
They were on like back order, and then I was like, I really could use this $200, and I didn't get it. I was reading some things. I'm gonna wait until I can get the other room.
Okay, that's probably
finished.
Better anyway.
It's an ungodly yellow color right now, though. I'm really not.
Well, then paint it.
No, we did. It's an ungodly color of yellow. Yeah, that's not me. It was my dad's idea. Okay. Yeah, it sucks. But yeah. I plan on being in a new area soon. I need to get a new couch in here. Then I'm going to probably bring my sweet love seat in that other room.
Cool.
Just like yours. I'll have the love seat off to one side when I have guests.
Yeah. Don't you like how the setup is, though?
It's nice. I mean, it's like you can only use the room for that, which I guess.
Well, that's what I designed it for. I mean,
yeah, the other room's going to have to be part storage, part me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah,
welcome everybody.
Jump right into our sexy, nerdy, and sciencey podcast. Welcome. For those of you listening, I just openly embraced you guys. So we're missing Drew today. He's kind of MIA, but it's okay because we live in the USA, and that's all I'm gonna say.
For today.
Yay.
So Josh, did you see Wonder Woman this weekend?
I did see Wonder Woman this weekend.
Oh my gosh, it was such a good movie.
It was great.
Yeah.
I saw it with Drew and Tasha. We went to the bistro setting, so I got to get some din while I was watching it. Had some really shitty pizza. It was not very good. But the movie made up for the shitty pizza for sure. I'm still kind of, let's see if there's any real structure. Yeah. Like I'm still kind of shell shocked. Yeah. That's actually a really good term to use for a World War I movie, where that term was actually coined. And, I don't know how I know how I feel about the movie. Like it was like I left like it was awesome, but like I'm still like looking for words to describe it. Like I don't even know. Like I know it sounds really dumb, but I would cosplay as Wonder Woman, but
sounds
not
good.
Like Wonder Woman, like my Phoenix costume. Like it's not like just like a chick thing. Like I would. Like Wonder Woman is a superhero for men and women. And
sure.
I don't know.
I don't think that describes how the movie was, though.
I think it does. Like, I just like there was
You
something
think that the movie describes as you want to be Wonder Woman?
Yes.
That describes the movie.
Yes. As a superhero movie, the fact that it can inspire me to want to be the superhero I'm watching, you know, even me being a male wanting to be a female superhero, like, that I don't think that's something that happens often in this world where maybe females might want to be like a male counterpart super, like they're like, oh, I want to be the girl version of Superman, or I want to be the Batgirl or something like that. But I'm like, no, I want to be Wonder Woman. Like, it was good. She was kick ass.
Well, I always loved the Greek mythology aspect behind it. I always loved
so
Hercules.
Wrong.
What?
It's so wrong. Like,
well, there was parts of it that was actually incorrect, but this whole story arc is kind of off a little bit.
Well, it's always so like the comic book mythology for like Atlantis and for Themyscira like has always been kind of like askew. Like, it's like someone heard Greek mythology one day and they're like, that's cool, I'm just gonna make a bunch of shit up. And
well, in a sense you kind of have to. I mean, I understand some some aspects you have to follow and some aspects you don't, because it's so because in order to make the storyline move forward and to kind of progress, some things have to be changed.
But what about like Ares' wife, for instance?
What's Ares' wife?
Aphrodite.
Oh, really?
Yes. And Aphrodite is not like Aphrodite is technically his aunt.
Is Ares' aunt?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Kronos, when his wife got a little happy, she snipped, and some snip went drip into the ocean and sea foam, and out of the sea foam came Aphrodite.
Gotcha.
And then Zeus was part of actually like the birthing process from Kronos and Gaia.
Yeah.
And so are Hades and everybody else. So.
Well, see, in some mythology, what is it? Zeus is Poseidon and Zeus.
See, that's the thing. Like, no.
Yeah, and in some of the
in Greek mythology.
Yeah, it's both, and it's like, kind of like the Trinity.
Well, there is a Trinity. Like Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon are all sons of Kronos.
But in other mythology, it's not three; it's only two. You only have Hades and you have Zeus, and Zeus is also the ruler of the ocean, and Poseidon doesn't exist.
That's weird. I don't know of any Greek mythology that talks about that.
It's
when you study Greek philosophy, you have to study Greek mythology too, because they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of anything like that before.
Really?
But even then, like that to me sounds just as crazy as the stuff that Wonder Woman has. No, Wonder Woman has in it.
Well, I mean, like you marry your aunt, you sex with your cousin, or whatever, all this other stuff.
It's not the worst thing that the Olympians have done.
But
no, fair,
I understand what you're saying with the movie, though. I feel like the movie itself was very well done. The storyline kept me intrigued. I like how and then spoiler alert, I liked how the flashback kind of started in modern day with where we kind of left off, if you will, because it had the Wayne Enterprise thing, kind of flashback to the whole movie, and then it kind of touched on the picture when they took the picture, and then it came back at the end. So I really liked how that was, but there was one portion I didn't like, and I wanted to know if you could guess the one thing I didn't like.
The one thing you didn't like?
Yeah.
Was it the I'm gonna go with you did not like how easy it was to find Themyscira?
Nope,
that wasn't what frustrated you.
No, I would say the one that frustrated me was the end battle. I thought the end battle, there were some cool parts to it. I liked how who was Ares in the end.
Oh, I knew that shit in the very beginning.
Yeah, you could kind of tell foreshadowing and whatnot, but
yeah.
I liked how he was Ares. Ares did exist. I liked that portion of it. I liked the how he came to be, how he kind of shows up, kind of tempts her a little bit. But then just the whole end battle itself was kind of, I know this is a movie, but it was more unbelievable. It was too, Wonder Woman's powers are limited to specific things. And I didn't like how she just had, stuff was flying at her and she could just block it without not being there. She had like an aurora of some kind. And there were just certain parts to it I did not like. That didn't.
An aurora, like an aura of some kind?
What'd I say?
An aurora.
Okay, like an aurora.
Mean, technically, yeah, she had both, I guess. An aura.
But there were certain parts I felt like she got angry and then she won. I didn't like that.
Wonder Woman has been, especially even in the comics, has been really like, okay, so like everyone's familiar with like Wonder Woman's invisible jet and like that's how she gets around. But like also she can fly. Like she doesn't need an invisible jet. She could just fly. And like this kind of was like, oh, is she like she can't fly, but she could jump really high and hard and like that was a little weird. And then so I think like Wonder Woman being a mess of powers has always been kind of like canon to the character. And I think they did a pretty good job with that here too. I mean, like it was literally like, okay, let's just have two battles between the gods essentially. And it was like a godly battle. It had nothing to do with like actual powers or anything like that. Like actual like superpower thing. Like when we think like Marvel, like we think like, okay, like even Thor's just gonna smack people around with his hammer and fly around and do typical Thor lightning jabs. But like at one point in time, freaking Ares is like, I'm gonna call lightning down from the sky and throw lightning bolts at you, which is totally Zeus's thing. And then somehow that's gonna be like, I'm gonna shoot him right back at you. Like, okay,
exactly. Like it didn't hurt her.
That. Yeah,
exactly. It was so unbelievable, so not the way that I thought it should have ended. And I think most of actually the DC versions of the movies, their endings are a little sad to me. Not sad, disappointing. I felt like each one of them in some aspects have been disappointing. I mean, overall movie I love though.
That's true. I mean, like the whole Martha thing with Bat v Soups. I think the Zod battle I thought was kind of good.
See, I liked the battle itself. I didn't like the actor who played it. Yeah. I feel like that actor was a little bit more comedic, and he didn't really show it there. But once you're kind of as a comedic villain, you kind of stick with that role the whole time. So,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, this was by far one of the greatest DC films I've seen ever.
I agree.
I was really disappointed there wasn't anything like, so on your trailers, did you get the trailer for the Justice League before the movie?
Yeah.
See, I thought that would have been nicer to have that trailer for the Justice League after the movie.
It was already been seen, so it was not like it was anything new.
But I mean, like, I guess that's true. Yeah, I think it would have been good for them to like, I know it sounds stupid. Like, man, how do I like? So remember in 22 Jump Street where he's like, just do the same thing from the first movie. Like, I literally sometimes I feel like as like a nerd movie critic, like I just want DC to be like, do the same thing that Marvel does and you'll be successful. Like, stop trying to do your own thing.
I agree, but they have to do their own thing in a sense. Marvel has coined the comedic side of it, and DC is trying to get away from the comedic side of it.
Yeah,
so there's some funny things. There's dry humor, with like how Wonder Woman was trying on clothes. There were some funny things with the secretary, a few other things, but it's more of a serious movie, and I think the ending is more of a, like, do you remember Dragon Ball Z, the Dragon Ball, the movie that we want to watch when we were younger?
I try not to.
I know, but like all of a sudden the guy's like, yeah, Kamehameha, or whatever, and then we're just like, some guy's like, really? Like, that's what we just sat here and watched?
But that's the exact thing. All they had to do is do the exact same thing from the cartoons, but in a movie, and people would like it. Like, that's what they want.
Here's one thing that I don't like about.
They wanted it with Avatar. They wanted it with fucking Dragon
I agree.
Ball. They want it with all these movies. Like,
but here's one thing that I think that every single Marvel movie or DC movie has done that I do not like. It's they kill off or dispose of the bad guy. I feel that with the comic books and how the characters are portrayed, you can't just discard the bad guys after they're gone. They're there to keep coming back. Make it something where how like Lex Luthor gets locked up at the end of Batman vs Superman. Banish him to the Phantom Zone. Do something where it's not just ending the thing, because Ares is supposed to be a character that comes up in other Wonder Woman scenarios. He fights the Justice League in a bunch of different.
You don't know that he's dead.
That's the whole point. I mean, in this movie, though, that's what she does. If she's the God killer, and he's no longer there, he's the God killer. That's what he's supposed to do. Now, in a sense, you don't really know. He just disappears. Yeah. The same thing. Zeus strikes him down with a lightning bolt in the storyline, and he's not dead / whatever. Yeah. Either way, I think that it's in all the other movies too. They kind of just end it, and that makes me want to be like, make it be like striving for something more after that.
Yeah. One of the good things about Greek mythology too is, like in Tartarus, like if you end up in Tartarus, like you just reconstitute yourself over time, and then you can eventually escape from Tartarus and come back, which happens a whole lot in Greek mythology. So I don't necessarily, especially for someone like a god.
That's where Kronos is locked up, right?
Yeah, and Kronos was hacked into little tiny pieces and separated and stuff, and it took a whole lot of stuff to bring him back in certain myths. Mm-hmm. There are, like, if you were to, like, in some Greek myths, like, people have gone to Tartarus and met Kronos, and Kronos like helps the hero out of Tartarus or something like that. I mean, it happens a lot. Tartarus itself is actually one of the gods, so that's kind of weird to think about.
I thought it was the prison.
It is, but it's also a living thing. Just
okay.
Like space and nighttime is also a god. Nox is the night goddess.
Oh, I thought Apollo was just the guy that.
See, Apollo, like he's just a symbol for, like, he doesn't really actually control the sun. Like, that would be crazy.
But, yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think he controlled the sun.
No, but, Apollo, yes, god of the sun, and then his sister, what's her butt? Huntress.
The fortress, the woodland guy.
No, it's a girl.
It's a girl. Woodland girl.
Yeah, the twins. I can't think of the freaking name. It's gonna.
I don't know. Well, I think we're getting off topic anyway.
Yeah, I guess we are.
But real quick, the person who trained Wonder Woman in the movie, that actress, was her aunt. She ended up dying, and that's what makes Wonder Woman go off the island. She's actually, her character is actually a recurring ancestor that comes back. Artemis
is the name of Apollo's twin sister. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Oh, okay. But
I know someone is listening to this who might have known the answer to that, and they're like just screaming at the other end. It's like, Josh doesn't know who Artemis is? What the heck? Like, yeah. Now it makes sense. Okay.
Go ahead. But that Dead character, Antelope or whatever, I can't remember her name. I think that's her name is Antelope, or it's spelled that way. Is the actress who plays Claire Underwood on House of Cards. And I thought that was, I was like, oh my God, because I'm watching House of Cards right now.
Yeah, it would probably be like something that ends in L-P.
Yeah, it was like Aunt Telepy. I don't know how to read, Josh, so I can't.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I could not tell you the name. I mean, Themyscira, I'm surprised I remembered that.
Or what's Mjolnir? It's
Mjolnir. Yeah. But that was a joke from Thor. I don't know. I like the movie. I don't think that Ares is dead. I just think Ares is banished for now and going to come back later, of course, or could come back later. Just like I just want to point out something here to you. Like Ultron, dead.
No, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they
like Marvel does it on almost every single movie. Like Obadiah Stane, dead.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like all 3 Iron Mans, the main character, like the villain from Iron Man, died. All 3 Thor movies so far, the main villain from the Thor movie dies. Well, we don't know about the third.
Well, not really. I mean, because Loki was the first one. And I guess the aliens really weren't the main bad guys. And if they were, their whole army didn't come through. It wasn't a specific person there.
Loki wasn't the bad guy in the first Thor movie. The Frost Giants were.
The Frost Giants weren't the main bad guys.
Yeah, they killed the Frost Giants. And then honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen
I'm thinking of Avengers.
Yeah.
Thor, the first Thor one.
That was like in like the desert and like the Frost Giants take over Asgard.
Yeah, but they don't. It's just a small rogue.
Yeah, and then they give the one of the like the death toys that's in Asgard. They throw it down on Earth, and it's like the giant mech thing.
But it's not the Frost Giants that do it, isn't it? Loki that does that.
I thought that was one of the Frost Giants. And then they tell Loki that he was one of the Frost Giants. And then Loki freaks out.
I thought that was in the beginning of the. That was like the second movie.
Since, yeah.
So I don't remember.
But like even like so like Hulk, I guess like you don't find out what happens to the other Hulk thing. I can't.
Your stuff's bouncing around, making a lot of noise.
My foot. I'm sorry.
Oh.
So like that happens, and then but I mean like literally like Guardians of the Galaxy, like all these people die. Like Avengers. The characters die with the exception of Loki. Like, I mean, it's like almost every movie they kill off. Like, they don't just like arrest people and like save them for plots later.
All right. I honestly think Captain America.
What about Captain America?
Well, in the first one, it was the Red Skull, and he didn't die.
Dead.
He didn't die.
Yeah, he did.
No, he just went up in the. Didn't he get launched in the spaceship?
No, like they have the spaceship together, and then they're fighting, and then Red Skull falls to his death, I thought. And then like he's fighting Red Skull in the first Captain America. He's fighting Red Skull on like the warplane, and then like throws him out of the bottom of the doesn't the Tesseract do something? Like the Tesseract burns through him, and then he dies with the Tesseract, and then the plane crashes. Like, but that was like Red Skull.
I'm literally watching it right now.
The ending of
it. They're fighting. They're fighting. The plane's going down. They're fighting. I could have
sworn like someone gets burned alive. I thought, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've seen
he's holding the Tesseract. The Tesseract is like showing him the universe. They're both looking at it. He's super excited, and then he can't handle it, and he gets sent up. That's what happens.
Okay.
He gets like not vaporized, but you can see like a kind of like the rainbow bridge thing.
Yeah. Well, the Tesseract is a way to.
Yeah.
So I guess like open up portals and stuff. So I guess maybe he might still be alive.
Yeah, because I know me and Tom talked about possibly him coming back in a future movie.
Maybe, but I mean but even then like in all these movies they kill him. And actually I'm gonna say this in DC with things like Arkham and things like Iron Heights and what's the other prison? The one that the Suicide Squad was in.
I have no idea.
Blackgate. Like that's 3 prisons where like they notoriously lock up DC villains, but in like the Marvel universe, like they're just dead and then they just come back later. Like I feel like that's how like if we're really saying that about the movies, like I think DC keeps more of their villains alive than Marvel does.
And General Zod got his neck broken.
Yep. Which was
but there's only 3 DC movies that like within this universe, so
well, within this universe, yeah.
I mean, so that's not I can only base it off of.
Well, Huntress gets killed in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I guess she doesn't. She gets killed, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, I guess all these movies are like they open it up for sequels all the time. Which Wonder Woman 2 I think has already been greenlit. I remember reading. Um, so that'll be sweet for Wonder Woman. We've probably talked enough about Wonder Woman. Now we could talk about another. Speaking of England,
where's the transition to England?
Wonder Woman is in London.
I understand that it's in Paris.
What?
It's based in Paris, the Louvre.
Oh, well, I guess I meant like London. Like where
World War I London?
Yeah.
Oh, not like we're at the end of the movie where she's jumps out
guess, yeah, the Louvre. I could tell by the giant pyramid stuff.
Okay, sure.
It's the glass pyramid things from the movie with the
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code,
yes.
Yeah.
Which I've been to those, so
I'm not sophisticated like you guys are.
Yeah.
Not all of us can propose in Paris. You're
sure it wasn't Dubai? I don't know. You get stuff confused.
I don't get stuff confused. I want to propose in Rome. That's what I want to do. And the gladiator pops out.
The gladiator?
Yeah. But still, speaking of London, there was this is like the third terrorist attack in London in the last couple days.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's unfortunate.
This is at the London Tower, right? Or London Bridge.
London Bridge, yeah. So
well, it wasn't at the London Bridge. It was at the Tower Bridge, is what it's called. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what we associate with London Bridge, isn't it?
Yes, but there's the London Bridge, which is actually in front or behind or to the west of the Tower Bridge. The bridge that you associate with London that had the rings on it for the Olympics, that's called the Tower Bridge.
Yeah.
So because it's right next to the Tower of London.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is the second terrorist attack that happened on that bridge in 6 months. And then,
something like that, yeah.
Then the Manchester thing with Ariana Grande. We don't really talk much about this kind of stuff, but it is unfortunate. Thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the people involved, and I think we should celebrate the heroes. I've read countless stories about, especially with the Manchester thing, people who were homeless were like helping get people to safety. There were people giving their actual houses and contact information out on Facebook to help people reach loved ones and stuff like that, to make sure everyone knew that people were okay. Like those kind of things are what I like to focus on, especially with the terrorist attack. Not the act of terror itself, I guess, or even the death or mortality associated with it. I think it's very unfortunate, the timing, because we're in such a polarized climate that people are just going to run with this and be like, see, I told you so. We need to vet those immigrants. But yeah, it's unfortunate. And yeah, I don't know if there's much else we can say that other than just thoughts and prayers go out to the families.
Just wanted to touch base on it, really. That's why I wrote it down.
Yeah, no, we should. I mean, we didn't talk about any of the other stuff for it. And I did read something that was like super sad, like after the Ariana Grande, the Manchester thing, where like a father like of 3 girls was like, hey, Ariana Grande, like, don't stop doing you. Like, not like, this isn't your fault. You can't blame yourself for this. Like, your publicists are going to tell you you need to say something or do something to make amends. Like, just don't, like, what you do already is good enough. Like, just don't stop doing that. And I was like, man, this is like getting the vapors. Like,
well, I always find it, like, I know this might be a little off topic, but people blame themselves for those type of situations, or like, oh, you know, this is my fault. If I didn't ask my friend to be there that night, she would have been hurt, or, you know, it's my fault for those type of things. Like, if we were in a car accident, but I asked you to go to McDonald's with me, and we got in a car accident, you know, I shouldn't blame myself, or, you know, I'm blaming myself for me getting in the car accident. But in reality, it's not your. It could be obviously in a car accident, but I'm saying in reality, it's not your fault. It's the people who did this.
Even in the car accident, I wouldn't necessarily say like you're at any blame or fault.
No. Yeah, but I'm just using that as an example. But I'm saying like in those type of scenarios where somebody, I put you in that situation for some reason, but you chose to be in that situation. And the people blame themselves for being in that situation. Yeah. Not the people who actually do the hurting.
Yeah. Like when we were driving and I blamed you for me getting that seatbelt ticket. Like it was your car and it was your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
If you wouldn't
not my fault.
If you would have just left later and let me put on my seatbelt, then I never would have gotten that ticket. Yeah. Stupid seatbelt.
3.5 miles down the road. Plenty of time.
It was not 3.5 miles. It was like a mile.
From Daniel/and/or my house, we got pulled over in the parking lot in front of IKEA.
We left like Zap Zone and got pulled over.
Oh, we left Zap Zone?
Or something like that. It was either Zap Zone and we got pulled over like by BD's Mongolian Grill. Like,
no, we were going towards 275.
No, we were going the other way.
I don't remember.
Yeah, we were heading home, and I was like, your stupid seatbelt's not going in the thing. And so then I let it go. And then, like, as I let it go, like, then we passed, like, because this is on Lilly, usually. Where
it was on Ford Road.
Ford Road and Lilly.
No. Ford Road. It was at Ford Road. It was between Lilly and Haggerty. Yeah. We were going towards 275.
But it was.
And we were heading towards somewhere.
Intersection. No.
We were going to a movie or something. I don't even know.
That might have been the case, but it pissed me off, and it was your fault.
It was your fault for not wearing a goddamn seatbelt.
The ticket should not go to the person not wearing the seatbelt. It should go to the driver.
Why?
Making sure we're buckled up.
Okay, let me put it this way. If I'm sitting there, I'm saying, hey, you need to get a seatbelt, and you don't put it on, but you're like, come on, guys, let's go. The peer pressure is going to change my mind. If I'm going to get a ticket, fuck you guys.
Yeah. Speaking of terrible reasoning, for those people that don't know, the USA, Donald Trump officially said that he's pulling us out of the Paris Agreement. Paris Climate Agreement, Paris Climate Accord. I don't exactly know what the official title of this thing is. That's the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. I think that's what it's officially called. Yeah, so that was news that has just been blowing up since that happened. That was like 4 days ago, maybe even, like, and it's still like every day I see something in the news about it, which I'm glad. Like, these are things that we should be glad for, that people are up in arms about this. For those of people that don't exactly know what the Paris Agreement was, it was a group of over 200 countries got together.
Every country in the world except for 2 countries.
Yeah. Not every country in the world got together for it.
But every country in the world except 2 signed the agreement. Correct.
Like Russia didn't show up. China did show up to the second one, but not the first one.
Well, this is part of the G7 meetings. They happen every often.
I thought it was but the global summits happen all the time.
Yeah. But I'm saying that's when they signed it a few years ago.
Yeah, but it's been in the works for a while.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
So what it is basically an agreement signed by a bunch of countries saying that we're going to do what we can to stop climate change. We're not asking everybody to completely change everything overnight. We're asking people to make a pledge to make steps in the right direction. None of it was like legally binding. It was just like, hey, here's a group of people. Let's all work together as a world to solve this world problem. And what that does is there was a lot of money that was needed for it. There was a lot of promises that have been made, financial backing and stuff like that.
I believe the numbers are 25 to 28% decrease in CO2 emissions by
2020.
2025.
Well, was it the first jump was by 2020, I believe. We were supposed to be under.
But exactly. Point is, we're supposed to lose CO2 emissions by a specific date. And again, it wasn't legally binding, so it was something that was made to be like, let's do this as a world. And now the USA has pulled out of that. But I want to get your opinion on it, Josh, and then you're going to hear my opinion, and we're going to disagree.
Okay. I think that the United States pulling out of it is nothing more than a hand wavy. Like it didn't necessarily mean anything for the United States to be in it. And it doesn't necessarily mean something for the United States to be out of it, other than the fact that the United States can be like, oh, we're out of it, similar to, I think, like the United States wants to pretend we're like what Nicaragua, I think, is one of the other countries that's not in it. And one of the things that they've been doing is like they're like, hey, these goals aren't ambitious enough. So we're going to do them on our own. We're not going to waste money providing it for other people. We're going to do it just to help us. And which is kind of selfish. Nicaragua is on track to be like 90% fossil fuel independent by like 2020. Like it's super, like they're doing a really good job. So that's something that I was like, oh, okay, like I understand why they're not a part of it. It does kind of suck that they could be helping out other people, but they're not choosing to. But I mean, what good came out of that? I don't know. But yeah, I think I disagree with the decision to do it. I think the majority of the country disagrees with the decision to do it. And I'm disappointed that the majority of the country doesn't want something to happen. And for whatever minority reason that does happen, which to me is very anti-democratic. And that's my biggest problem with it.
So I think we actually do agree on majority of it. I agree that we should be still in it. I disagree that we should not have left it. But my biggest thing is I don't think it has anything to do, or obviously it has a lot to do with the actual, political agenda. But I don't think it'll hurt us in a sense that about anything in the United States about policy. I think what it'll do is it'll hurt our relationships with other countries. I think that is one of the biggest things. But I feel like a lot of other countries, friend or foe, realize that this president's time is within the 4 years and he will not be coming back, in my opinion. So it's one of those things where this political spectrum is normally, it goes from one side to the other side and it kind of tips in the middle a lot. We kind of led to one side but it's shifting back real quick. And so I feel like a lot of people are like, well, we're just going to wait a little bit and we'll figure it out in another, 3.5 years. And so I leave it in the political stance. I don't think it'll hurt us in any way as far as moving forward with gaining the ability to take out CO2 / moving towards reducing our fossil fuel. I think we'll still become a green country, probably not overnight, obviously, but I feel like this won't hurt our innovation. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
I believe that's true. Right now, I believe the numbers came in the United States is 25% has produced 25% less CO2 emissions than they did last year, and that trend continues to be growing. So what that's saying is, yes, we are already doing so. However, lots of those things I think are so. I posted this with one of my friends. Yes, the states can do it by themselves. The states don't need to have federal backing to do so. However, if we continue to give federal benefits to alternatives, gee, this is weird to say. So for right now, the solution is like green initiatives. If we continue to give federal backing to alternatives to green initiatives like fossil fuels and clean coal, quote unquote clean coal, which is not really a thing, but people believe it's a thing. Like we're helping the wrong side with federal dollars, and that I don't think we should be doing. And I think that is one thing that this presidential cabinet is very for. Yeah, I mean they're very for helping those people out. If you look at and it's not hard to follow the money. I think that money talks a lot.
Well, they just put. I know Trump was one of the biggest things was to help the West Virginia coal miners get back to work, and which he did that. He did something, I believe, an executive order that helped a large percentage of the coal miners return back to the mines and start producing more coal for the area. But a lot of people like that because it is job producing, and I can get on board with obviously creating jobs. But in this sense, again, it's why not utilize a little bit of downtime? What I mean by that is when you're playing a baseball and you're having a bad year, don't try to be better than next year. Take a few years off. Try to rehash your team so you can win for sure in 4 years. So do that same thing. Is instead of going right back to the coal aspect, try to become a cleaner area. Take all the money. Don't put it into making jobs for the putting in coal. Let's do it for like greener solutions.
So as of right now, there are more people employed in solar jobs than those in coal. And that gap continues to widen. The solar industry has expanded 17 times as fast as the U.S. economy, and costs for solar have decreased by about 8% since 2016. So over just this last year, costs have dropped another 8%. I think that was just a bold-faced lie. I don't think that there's any correlation to job loss and transitioning to solar jobs. The problem is the people who work on solar panels and stuff like that probably not going to be coal miners.
Or probably going to need some form of education, not just
correct trade education. Though I mean, you could get a trade degree and work with solar panels.
Yes, but that still requires somebody who has been doing. If you're 30 to 40 years old and been doing something 20 years for 30 years, and have been relying on this industry, you can't just change everything. And that's something that like even my family had to deal with at a brief time. Is that my dad, if you recall, he was let go temporarily from the airline, and not to get too much in detail, but he had to find another job. He had to figure out what to do because it was a situation that wasn't his fault, but he had nothing he could do. And if he could have got laid off or anything else, just like that, you have to then figure out what to do in the middle of life, in the middle of something you thought was secure.
Story of my dad's life the last 20 years has been something like that.
Exactly. So it's something that you have. What do you do? Pick up and just start over? You can at a certain age. I mean, you have to, but
I think you need to diversify from a young age, and we need to be promoting that kind of unfortunate. And this is kind of weird because it's very almost libertarian of me to say this, that if you're not a good candidate for a job because you don't have the education, that's not necessarily anybody else's fault but your own. Including these coworkers. These coworkers who spent their entire life just doing coal, knowing full well that people have been preaching for the last 70 years that this is not a sustainable thing to do. Well, we need to make a change.
Here in Detroit, we're the auto industry. And so when in the auto, when we had the recession, goodbye auto industry. Something that was going to be around forever is now gone.
Except it never like no one ever said that the auto industry was going to be around forever.
No, but it should be around forever. What type of, like the auto industry, even like they're becoming more advanced, but they still have to be built. So that blue collar labor has to still be there. Yeah. However, as time goes on, stuff moves. This area is known for that. So to get another job and something that's pays as good, something that you've lived for, or have a job or have a house, or, you know, stuff that for $200,000, $300,000 that, you know, you've been working at this job for 20 something years and all of a sudden it's gone. It's something to have to adjust to really quickly. Obviously you're familiar with. So it's not just something that I understand the appeal and the hardship that these coal miners or that type of industry has to go through. But I think from a non-libertarian side of me, just because that job is no longer gone, I think it's the responsibility of the government, and this is non-libertarian, obviously. I think it's the responsibility of the government / society to then take this area that we know is no longer going to be sustainable, to then try to raise that up to a different level. So, hey,
through education.
If you guys are a coal miner or had a job that no longer is here anymore, you know, that we need to transition it out or filter it out of some kind, we're going to offer you guys, you know, we'll give you $50,000 in free education at this trade school. That should pay for it, no problem. You know, a trade to, you know, build electrical lines or something like that.
Or be an over-the-road truck. Well, so that's the other thing. Over-the-road truck driver might be, like, that's another thing that we've talked about with, like, the technologies here and stuff like that. That, I mean, I'm not going to feel sorry for an over-the-road truck driver who has known that truck driving is not going to be something that's going to be around forever. Like, now's the time. I'm in retail. A retail is not going to be around forever. Like, my job in a brick and mortar store, they've already told us that they've replaced us with machines in certain stores and they do better than I do. And I've known that fact for a while, that that's going to be something that's happening. And I think that's why I'm continuing to go to school and put such a huge focus on my education, because like I know that what I need to do involves high education to get me out of here. And that's why I'm kind of upset with a lot of, this isn't just the Paris Agreement, it's a lot of Trump's actions are like, hey, you know, Carrier plant in Indiana, very first thing I'm going to do after I win the election is I'm going to negotiate to save your jobs, you know, for a plant that, like, it's a pretty outdated plant and they were moving because costs were cheaper elsewhere. Instead of do my diligence to make costs cheaper here in America for parts or labor or whatever, or have a plan to move these people to a new job so they wouldn't lose jobs. Like, instead, I'm just going to keep them doing the same old job they were doing before. So Carrier continues to lose money on it.
It's not innovating.
And then Carrier, I don't know if you heard recently here, they have laid off all but 200 of those 1,000 employees now. And those 200 are going to be laid off over the next year and a half.
Yeah, so just closing shit up.
I mean, because like, I mean, it's just why wouldn't they do it? And so it's not saving jobs. And I think it's going to be the same thing with coal industry too. You know, he goes down to West Virginia and is like, hey, we're going to get coal back on the market. Like, no, you're not. Like, CEOs from the coal industry know that's not going to happen. Like, they're already trying to diversify and invest in other things because they know that coal is not going to go the way. Natural gas isn't going the way that they think it's going to either. Like, it's moving towards these things, but yet we have a president who's so focused on the short term, on the now, that I think the Paris Accords, the Paris Agreement was something that there's a long-term consensus. Like, here's the direction we need to go in the long term. And if we all agree to go there, it's going to be easier for all of us. And if we try to do it on our own, it's going to be a lot harder. And I think that's what so now we're going to be having federal government doing one thing, state government trying to continue following the trend that we're going on right now. And for some people, that's exactly what they want. They want less federal government doing things and more state government. But I think what that's going to do is that's going to create more of a schism. You're going to have another flip flop of people influxing to one political party or the other, because now it's about their jobs, like I don't want.
It should never be about jobs.
No,
it should never. Because
it should be about ideologies.
I have an ideology of mixed. Obviously, we've talked about I'm libertarian. If I had to pick a party, I don't associate with a party, but a lot of my views are for that minimalistic government. And there's a lot of Democratic and Republican views I have that I don't want to say contradict each other, but they aren't the friendliest, because while I want people to be, I think it's the responsibility of the society or the government to help people. I also don't want people to be helped with my stuff. Does that make sense? So it's like I have to give some of my views or beliefs or ideologies up for other ones. And I have to always think of, obviously I'm a Christian, so I have to think of, what would Jesus do in a lot of senses? And I'm an asshole with a lot of things, but I try to, at my core at least, have those bigger morals, if you will.
Yeah.
And I try to stick with those. We can get into the theological debate another time, but the core values should be upheld, not just stand behind false narratives.
So let me transition quickly here to another piece that's inside this. One of my most disappointing things to come out of this, for those that don't know, at this point in time, one of the most influential people in my life as of right now probably is Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk is a great businessman. I think Elon Musk is a great innovator. I think Elon Musk is a great person beyond those other two things. And I think he has some good foresight on how to do things. And I was not discouraged. A lot of people were really discouraged when they found out that Elon Musk was on a few committees for Donald Trump. But like that's what needs to happen. Like there needs to be a conversation happening between two people that might not have the same ideologies.
I agree.
But like about everything, but might have the same ideologies about one thing. And I thought for sure, like Elon Musk, great businessman. Donald Trump, arguably a good businessman. They could at least appeal to each other there. And I thought, Elon Musk is going to do his part. He's going to make sure that, and Donald Trump, I think is he's going to respect Elon Musk because he understands that how he's doing the business. And I thought this is a perfect position. As much as a lot of people were like, oh, Elon Musk conspiring with Trump, like he's just trying to get his extra shares in, like, no, he was trying to do what he thought was right for the betterment of the country. And now because of this Paris Accords thing, it's in direct violation. Yeah, like Elon's like, do not do this. It's a terrible idea. Do not do this. And even has come out and said, like, the majority of the committee, like business leader committee, said, no, don't do this, with the exception of a couple handful of businesses that would lose money because of the future where we're going. And because of that, Donald Trump chose to go with the few that were filling pockets with the most amount of money. And Elon Musk stepped down. Elon Musk stepped down, CEO of Disney Channel. Bob Iger stepped down from the committee. Two of the most, so just in case people don't realize, like ABC, Disney Corporation owns like everything. Like you watch sports on TV, thank Disney. You watch almost any TV shows, thank Disney. That's a huge business to run, and we should respect the knowledge that those people have about business. Warren Buffett, another person who I think we should just listen to about business, because the guy's the freaking Oracle of Omaha. If you were to just do blindly what Warren Buffett says to invest in and don't even care, like just invest what Warren Buffett invests in, you would be you could start at my age, you would be a billionaire by the time you're 40.
You would die by then.
I would have no money if I did that. I mean, the stuff that Warren Buffett's investing in right now is way out of my price range. But I mean, if I could do it, like it would be something that would, I mean, it's insane how many billions of dollars these business guys know what they're talking about. And they are like, hey, don't do this. And it was just ignored. And that was probably the most disheartening thing of them all. I felt really sad when I saw Elon Musk's post about that on Twitter. And it's unfortunate. And now, I'm asking so I sent a letter to my congresswoman in the state. Okay, so federal government's not going to do this. What are we doing? And I implore anybody listening to this podcast, whether you're in Nebraska, Missouri, Colorado, Michigan, anywhere in between, outside of the country, whoever is your representative for your country, write them a letter, call them, post on their Facebook, find out what kind of things they're going to be doing. What kind of legislation are they going to pass now that there is not going to be this huge push from the federal government?
I live in a primarily Democrat area. All my representatives are Democrat and have been for a long while. So when I write these people, like, yeah, we were doing that already. I'm like, well, I guess thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, and thank you. Here's my continued support. I mean, that's, if they know they have continued support from their constituents, then they're going to keep doing the right thing. If they are not getting the continued support of their constituents, then they're going to have to do something different or risk being voted out next time. So Governor Pete Ricketts here in Nebraska just said he's going to run for re-election. I'd be very interested to see what Pete Ricketts says about this current situation. However, I need to also preface this too as well. I know we don't have very much nerdy news or any other sciencey news after this, so this is kind of our major story for the day, I think. This and Wonder Woman. There is light at the end of the tunnel. In the Paris Agreement, there is wording that says we have to be in the agreement for a full year before we can begin our transition out. And then after that transition out, there needs to be a vote primarily done on there before we're officially out of the Paris Agreement. Now, granted, we might have already wiped our hands of this and been like, oh, we're out. We say we're out, we're out. However, we have 1 year after, so we have from November 17th or November 4th, 2017 is the official 1 year date that we will have been in the Paris Agreement. Then we have 3 years after that before we're officially out of the Paris Agreement.
I think it's just we're washing our hands of it. I don't think there's going to be there's no legal standings behind it. I've seen posts like that, Josh, and I think it's complete garbage.
Well, the thing is, it's technically,
there's a technical and there's reality.
Yeah, as much as it's not legally binding, it still technically is a treaty agreement that we signed.
No, it's not. It's not a treaty. And I think that was one of the things that was mentioned.
It's an accord.
I think it's one of the things that I saw online is that if it was some type of treaty or some type of legally binding stuff, it had to be these few things. But because it was more of an agreement, it was just a few of these. It was one of these things, and it didn't cross that threshold into we really have to follow it.
It's not legally binding. That's really the big main factor. But we're not officially out until the next presidential election.
It's like if I was to play a game and I see, on this next turn, this person lands on me and I'm out. I'm sitting at the table still, but I'm not playing anymore. But that makes any sense.
I don't think necessarily that's true. It's like saying that, like, hey, at this point in time,
what happens if we don't donate any money?
Nothing.
What happens if we don't meet our stuff?
Nothing.
So what are we really in?
In agreement.
Exactly. So there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to gain.
Correct.
Well, you know what I mean.
But we aren't officially out, technically.
Okay, sure. Like I said, we're sitting at the table, so we're not playing the game anymore.
Elon Musk personally is going to start funding the United States, not fully, but part of the United States' contribution. And he's asking other CEOs that care about this to do this as well. So the United States will still be participating, even if our federal government does not participate. And they are asking state governments to help participate, even though the federal government is not participating, which is what I'm trying to say, that we're not technically out. We still can write checks. We can still put the money where it needs to be to help other countries get to where they need to be. We can still do all those things. It's just...
I think that money would better be spent on infrastructure in the United States to grow a more greener climate here. So then in the future, when we have an administration that actually gives a crap, we can start moving to a positive direction.
Well, if businesses give that money to this accord, I'm sure it's considered a donation, which would be
I'm sure it is too, but it's, I think
so. I mean, that's part of the reason why we're still in it, because
but if we don't,
going to be
I guess, but I don't think it's really, people are looking at it that way. But let's move on to our last thing, because I think we're running out of time.
Are we? I didn't even know.
Yeah,
it has been a while, but I just don't want people to get discouraged. It's not the end of the world yet. We still got. We still got a whole 2 degrees before we're past the point of no return.
I thought it was just a half degree.
I know. I'm just kidding. We're really screwed.
I thought we were at 1.5 and we need to be at 2.
Well, once we get over like 3.3%, then like there's really, 4.2 degrees, there's really no means of coming back from that we're aware of.
I mean, just pump the atmosphere full of cold air.
There'd probably have to be some sort of geoengineering to get out of this, but we'll figure that out later.
So I saw this thing online today, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It happened last month in May. It is the science, or the International Science and Engineering Fair. It's the world's largest international high school STEM competition. And since we've been talking about STEM a little bit recently, I thought it would be interesting to kind of touch base on it. They are their primary people who run it is the Society for Science and the Public, is the name of the foundation, or the society, I guess. And they're looking for a new sponsor, a new title sponsor to sponsor it. So far, for the past 20 years, Intel has been the leading sponsor, but their renewal stops on the 2019. So this will be the second time in the 70 years of this fair that they'll look for a new sponsor. I don't know who the original sponsor is. Couldn't find it on the internet. This is a little snippet of information from their site. Each year, millions of high school students from around the globe, which is 75 countries, enter the most powerful STEM talent pipeline in the world. These students, tomorrow's leading scientists, engineers, innovators, and entrepreneurs, strive to discover answers and develop new solutions to humanity's greatest problems. I thought that was very interesting that, we've been talking about STEM, and this is to kind of help younger people in these kind of fields. And I don't know, I just thought it was interesting to bring up real quick. Intel obviously is the main sponsor, and they do a lot of good stuff, just like things. But I wanted to mention one of the winners. There's a lot of awards and winners throughout the entire thing. I don't know the exact number of them. I actually I'll post a link when we post on our website. It's the bottom one. That one actually has all the winners, and people won small prizes, a couple $1,000. But the main grand prize is called the Gordon E. Mort Award, and that is $75,000. And this year it went to Ivo Zell, IVO. He is a student from the I don't know if I can pronounce it because it is in German. Internationalische Scholosch Hessenberg, which is, I did translate it. It's the Hensberg Castle boarding school in Hessen, Germany. So I did translate that.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. He won the award for his project called a wing is enough. It was a project that improved the shape of a wing, which is like the wing that planes are built on. Improve the shape of a wing on a Bell distribution curve for lift. So it kind of found where the areas were within the wing and improved it, or changed the shape of it to improve its lift. And so that was the winner this year's 2017 fair.
We should have a podcast where you just have to read German as best you can.
Amanda does know German, right?
I did know that, actually.
Yeah.
Also, just fun fact here, I was just looking through some of the people who are part of the Society for Science.org. Brian Greene, professor of physics and mathematics at Columbia University. He was actually a ISEF 1980 competitor. So when he was in high school, he was a competitor for this. And he's currently on Nova Science Channel. He's the co-founder of the World Science Festival, where he serves as chairman of the board. But he's a very famous physicist with the likes of Neil deGrasse Tyson and everybody else. He's always on those Richard Dawkins, Bill Nye, Brian Greene, and some other scientists that most people don't know anymore. He's always on that docket, which I thought was very interesting to see him part of this. I believe one of the winners when I was it had to have been like my sophomore or junior year in college. It was a girl who built a super fast capacitor, like changed the capacitance, like changed a battery, like used a long, how do I say? The best thing about capacitors.
Guess you can't remember.
Yeah. The best thing about capacitors are they charge super quick and they can discharge huge amounts of energy. However, they don't discharge huge amounts of energy very slowly. They do it very fast. So like in one big blah. This girl was able to build a supercapacitor that can charge very fast and then discharge very slow. And it was thought that you could use this kind of technology to help create like new charging cells for batteries. So she built it for a emergency flashlight, which was kind of cool. One of the flashlights were like people like you shake it up and the flashlight charges. She did one like that, but just a couple shakes of it would fully charge the capacitor in it, and the battery would shine at like full intensity for a long period of time before the capacitor would fully discharge. But it was very interesting, and I remember hearing about that when I was in college, and I was like, man, like, why didn't I know about this? So people, if you're listening and you have kids in high school, you need to helicopter parent over them and make sure they check out this Society for Science in the Public, or the SS. Is it SSIP or what is it called? SS. I can't remember the.
Are you talking about the society?
Like the
Society for Science and the Public.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I don't know what the acronym is.
I think that's what it is. SSTP. Yeah, I think that's about right. But still, yes. Moving on from science-y news, because that I think was great, science-y news.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Sexy Nerd of the Month this month is going to be Project Nerd. We are hoping to get some interviews with the Nerdcast cast, the cast of the Nerdcast.
Or it was either the cast of the Nerdcast or some of the
Project Nerd Publishing comic creators, I believe,
or the editors for Project Nerd. I can't remember. We'll get somebody from Project Nerd Publishing.
If you're from the staff of Project Nerd, please hit us up.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for. We apologize. The last episode was supposed to be on Project Nerd. We're still trying to get our passwords and stuff approved again to be able to post back on Project Nerd. We have them or had them at one point in time, and they just don't work anymore.
Well, our password was 1 through 6, and that no longer works.
Don't tell them what the
it
password
doesn't work.
is.
I just did it.
Matter.
It doesn't matter
like,
what it is.
What if now it's like something stupid similar to that? Like people are going to be like, let's try A through G. Like
it will not be that.
It might be.
It will not.
But might as well just tell them what the password to Sexy Nerd Science Tale is.
Yeah,
we all know what it is, but
yeah. But Project Nerd, for those of you guys who don't know, it is a site that's coming back. That was a site for a long time. I don't know. It's weird how I just said that, but it has comic reviews, video game reviews, cosplay pictures. They go to a bunch of events. They're really kind of all encompassing nerd fandom, if you will.
They will be at Comic-Con with us.
They'll be at Comic-Con with us, along with Project Nerd Publishing, which I don't know how that works with subsidiary right now. It's kind of in flux. But I think they're each individual companies are kind of affiliated with each other. But Project Nerd Publishing, you're breathing into the mic a lot, Josh.
I know. I was gonna say something. I was like, and I forgot. Yeah. While we're still talking about this too, one of my good friends, and I hope we had one of the people on the podcast from Greg Ron Geeks. Bernie is going to be the new chair of Project Cosplay. So he's going to be taking on that responsibility. I believe you've met Bernie before.
Shout out to Bernie.
Dale,
yeah, many times.
Yeah. So yeah. It's Drew who hasn't met any of these people. So I'm really excited for that. I really do like Project Cosplay. I think it's a very fun event. I would like to continue going every year. I knew things were kind of question mark as of last year's closing ceremonies. I'm really happy that Bernie is now taking over this, and Iggy's still going to be there helping out as well. So just really excited for all of that.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's Project Nerd. Project Nerd Publishing has a bunch of different comics on there that you can check out. We'll have
Project-Nerd.
We'll have all their links in our on our website or on our Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. Last week's question of the week: what color Mike Puff is your favorite color? Mike Puff.
We had a vote. I saw we had a vote.
Who do we have? I didn't see anything.
Who do you think voted?
Kyle.
Nope.
No, really.
Who's probably honestly, like, no offense, Kyle, but person who likes and shares more of our posts
my father-in-law.
Anybody else? Dale's father-in-law.
What'd he say?
Voted purple.
Oh, did he? That's his favorite color.
So, thank you.
I don't know why we picked that question.
The one vote for Mike Puffs. I'm going to stand by once you go black, you can never go back. So I'm going to keep this Nubian god right here.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to have to say red, honestly. I think it stands out and it's bright and kind of in your face.
Yeah. So that was last week's question of the week. I love this week's question of the week. How
many turtles can you fit into a shoe?
No,
that's not this week's question.
No, that's not. It is. What do you think we should do with the Paris Agreement? Do you think we should remain in the Paris Agreement, or do you think we should not be in the Paris Agreement? Please let us know why or why not. I'd like to hear some opinions from the masses, and I'll make sure to ridicule you on Facebook. Just kidding. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week.
And if you guys are listening on the website, there's a spot to type in stuff there. If you guys are listening on SoundCloud, there's a stuff to type in stuff there. Anywhere you guys want to listen at, there's a place to type stuff in, and we usually check it out. I think Stuart typed in stuff literally like 20 minutes ago, so we didn't look up stuff there. But normally, yeah, we're on top of it. So please hit us up and we'll check it out.
We're on TuneIn now,
and a bunch of other sites. I'm literally using Podcast Addict like almost every day now.
Really?
Yeah.
I really do like. I wanted Tuned In, honestly, so I can just play it in my car.
Because I can you play it in your car before.
Well, like I have an actual tune-in app on the Tesla.
Oh, gotcha.
So I literally
was
just
so complicated.
I have it just post like right there, and I can just like click. Well, no, I can actually. So I can have my voice command in my car play Sexy Nerd Science podcast.
Wow.
I know it's really neat when you're showing it off to the people. Yeah, my web browser goes right to the web page too as well.
There you go.
So I've also noticed that there's a bunch of inconsistencies in how we're lettering like the episodes on some of them. Some of them we use SNS dash and then season number, episode number.
Oh yeah.
And then other ones we just do SNS space, and then some of them do SNS space dash space, and so they're pretty chaotic on the tuned in page.
Do you think we should go through and just put in the actual title of the episode? Like redo it?
Like parentheses.
No, like how I've been doing it on YouTube.
No, because that confused the hell out of me when I saw it on YouTube. Like I was like, what episode's this? And then I was like, oh, okay.
It confused you, didn't it?
It did. Well, and then we got a comment, like our first ever YouTube comment also.
Are you serious? I didn't check that. I didn't check YouTube.
Oh my God, Dale. Like, how do you not pay attention to you're not subscribed to the email list. So.
No, I'm not. There's so many like random crap I don't get. So
a lot of it's like your Twitter stuff. Like people are like, so-and-so liked this on Twitter. So-and-so did this on Twitter. And, but it seems like a pretty legit like post. Like it wasn't spam.
What? Who? Where? Which one?
It was, the most recent YouTube video.
The one I did 12 hours ago?
Yeah. Let's find out here. Let's search together.
Doing it together. No comments.
I literally saw it.
Okay, I'm gonna check the other one, the 12 a few days ago. No comments. Now I'm gonna go into the actual Sexy Nerd Science and check. Not that you guys need to listen to us do this by any means. We probably shouldn't be doing it on here.
It's okay. It's fun. They can all listen to it and
all listen to us try to figure out where stuff's located at.
It was on Heath Ahoy.
I'm showing one comment. Likely spam.
Nope.
It's under likely spam. So it's, hey, good work. Epic Radio.
Yep.
I'm approving the comment.
Please do. I didn't think it looked like spam.
It probably... Maybe
like I went to their page and they've got like...
Well, that's why I couldn't see it because it queued it as spam.
Lame.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
But they said good work, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
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 Man, this is going to be a good podcast.
So yeah, that's I guess our podcast. Do you know we have a YouTube channel? Did you guys know we have Twitter and Facebook and a website? And you guys should listen to us on all the different media sources we do and check us out and like us and comment and share us. Oh my God, did you guys know you could share us?
Sharing our posts and our podcasts are the best ways to spread us like fungus on America.
Or communicating with us in any way helps us improve in any source or power.
I saw a post the other day that makes me reaffirm my strong stance that I will never pay for a Facebook boost ever.
Was it duck shoes again?
No.
Oh, I thought it was duck slippers. I thought you were like, you just bought them. And
no,
what are you talking about?
I'm paying for Facebook posts.
Yeah. Didn't you just recently buy duck boot or duck slippers?
No.
Maybe it was some dream I had.
Apparently.
Yeah.
No, there was a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, who paid for to get more reach on her posts and received more spam and everything, and actually less reach in the reason she wanted, which like everything we've ever said about why not to do it happened to her. And I was like, damn, like I wish I would have seen this post earlier, because I would have been like, no, don't, because it takes a long time to recover. By the way, I don't know if you saw it, but I had to manage it. Apologies to anyone on our page that saw I don't know if you noticed this, Dale. We had someone from ISIS on our page.
We did?
Yes.
We're famous.
They were posting propaganda, and I banned them from the page.
On our actual WordPress?
On our Sexy Nerds. No, on our Facebook page.
Oh, gotcha. Because I know I have to, on a daily basis, clear our, what's it called?
Yep. I like looked on it and I was like, who is this person with a name I can't pronounce? And then looked and I was like, that Facebook page has a bunch of, like, it was like literally like soldiers being killed and stuff like that. And then like I looked on our page and it was like ISIS stuff. And I was like, nope, and banned and deleted anything they put on their page. So if anyone saw that, my apologies. It's taken care of. See that? Trump took care of ISIS in one click.
That's how you got to do it. One click.
What if they hear this and they just bombard everything? Oh, man. We'll run for the hills. Well, thank you for listening. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye-bye.